Good evening, avatars. Our top story tonight. Release 50, the best release ever, has just gone live this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. You can play the game now if you want, or you can stay tuned for some more fascinating and riveting news about Shroud of the Avatar Forsaken Virtues right here on this live stream. I'd like to introduce my very special guest, Barrick.
Woo! Thank you for having me on the show. Actually, I think you're supposed to be. Nope, we got it right. The more the what is it? How is it? The person who's interviewing is on the right or the
I
left?
gotta do like this.
Something like that.
Like I have a paper and I'm.
Okay. Oh, you have questions for me. Oh wow, look at this.
What did it feel like to release?
It was terrible.
R50.
Oh, it was great. Welcome everybody. Thank you, Sarah, for helping to kick off this live stream. You may be in the game right now, celebrating at the Release 50 dance party in Rift's End.
Yes.
And I believe it was the 4th anniversary for Avatars Radio.
Oh, congratulations, yeah. Avatars Radio.
Yes. So my name is Barrick. I don't go by anything else in the world. And I, as you know, am the community manager here. Sarah, you are, what's your exact title?
I am customer support and quality assurance and anything else random that you might need.
She's in the forums. She helps with preparing our weekly updates, reviewing them, making sure all the community stuff is ready to go. And I've copied it over from your guys' community events in the forums and on the website. We pick those, we look through those and we pick a couple of your events every week, put them in the weekly update. Speaking of that, we have Star who's just finishing the DJing for the dance party. And so he'll be in here shortly, and then right after he has a few things to say about Release 50, maybe a little bit on Release 51 and what's coming up, because launch a few months from now. I should probably say a couple months from now. Holy cow, it is coming up fast. So
what's the date today? The 26th.
Today I have no idea what day.
So today is January 26th, and launch is March 27th.
March 27th.
So that's 2 months.
I am pulling up from Discord here
today-ish
to make sure if anybody corrects us, or if you guys can't hear us,
if you guys are like, no, it's not March, it's April, which is a month that I just made up.
I didn't. On my own. That's a really good month, by the way.
April?
Yes, one of my favorites. I'm pulling up the Twitch chat here so we can see what you guys are saying. Because the last time we did this, we had an amazing beginning that. Went on deaf ears. So maybe, hold on a second. There it is. I don't know if that went to them. That was an advertisement, not for our game, so we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All advertisements should be for Shroud of the Avatar Forsaken Virtues.
There's probably some people in chat that very brief sound bit, they could guess which platform. I'm guessing.
Ooh.
All right, so
you don't get any prize for that, though.
Yeah, but speaking of prizes, thank you, Sarah. Yay. We have some prizes. We just with releases, we always put out a few new items, and we were working on that a lot earlier this week, getting a few items ready for the add-on store. And we've got we're going to give these away throughout the live stream today. The 2018 Valentine's Day gift box set.
Yes, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Valentine themed wrapping paper, hearts. And red and pink. And
yeah, so there's 3 boxes, right?
Yes.
In different sizes.
Yes.
Small, medium, large.
Right.
And they all have hearts? They all have different. I think they're different.
Yeah, they're different. One of them is like a heart pattern kind of thing. That's a little more classy, I think.
Very classy.
It's very classy. You can give your loved one a nice bouquet of roses inside the gift box.
That's neat. Oh, so you can actually put things in them. They're containers.
Yes, they are containers that you can put on your lot or.
You have to have a lot or.
Yeah, or a play your own town.
Play your own town, but that's okay because there's a lot of play your own towns. If you don't have a lot, you can ask any of the play your own towns if they have space and get a lot, get a house, and decorate it and put some boxes in, fancy boxes that you can put a bunch more things in. And so we've got 2 of those we're going to give away. We also have the heart tub, one of my favorites. It's literally in the shape of a heart.
This is my favorite. It is similar to the ornate tiled hot tub that's also in the add-on store but this one is heart-shaped. And yes, you can sit in it. I have tested it many times. And it's pink and a darker kind of reddish pink
Yeah, and it has
tiles.
tiles. So it has a tile-ish. Once again, this should have been like release 50, the elegant release or something, because we just have so many really neat things that are just
for
nice
lovers.
Yes.
And
Valentine's
Day,
yeah, February, which is not February yet, but it's coming up fast. So we wanted to make sure you got it in advance so you can put it. I think I saw no, I didn't see it, but I heard someone on our team was walking around the game because of the dance party. Everybody wanted to join and jump in, and they saw, I think in Rift's End, somebody had the heart tub already.
Yeah, I'm sure. You can see my heart tub in my house in Veritas Sanctuary.
Oh.
It is just to the right of the docks. It's the first blue tile row home called Serafina's Boutique.
Very nice.
Take a look.
So you sell them
but the upstairs is adults only.
Oh.
No kitties.
I would have preferred the basement by design. But anyway, moving
forward. I like it out in the open.
That's good to know. Interesting. More prizes. So we have the heart tub, the Valentine's Day gift boxes, the obsidian obelisk. Obelisk?
Yes, that's really cool. If you have kind of a darker themed town or a darker themed plot in the Obsidian series, this is a really cool Egyptian inspired obelisk. Think like the Washington Monument shape.
Not obelisk.
But it's black. All black.
Yeah, and it has some really cool actually designs on it. And it's huge. It's like your character's like this, and it's like this tall. So it dominates. It'll fit on a village or larger, I believe.
Yeah.
And you can put. I forget which lot I had when I took the screenshot for it, but it comfortably fit. It must have been bigger, I think, but it had a village house and it had the nice obelisk right next to it. So anyway, giving one of those away, and then as always, we're doing the Twitter giveaway here, where we're going to give you a choice again, and it's going to be the choice of one expiring item on the front page of the store, $49 or less, which basically means there's one item that doesn't count that's on the front page that's expiring. Funny you should ask. I think no. The obsidian obelisk got moved off, so that's not there anymore. I was gonna make a joke about that, but it's actually I forget one of the houses, I think.
That's expiring on the front page?
I don't know. It's $50. Anyway,
that
one doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Unless we get like maybe 100 different. Everybody in chat tweets us, and that's how you win this choice here of your one expiring item on the front page of the store. By the way, all those items are expiring in February 2nd, so that's coming up real fast. Tweet us with a hashtag LBSOTA or @Shroud of Avatar, and then mention the live stream, mention release 50. Give us a quote. We're actually collecting quotes from you guys. Really appreciate all of those great quotes in the forums and your feedback on the release already. It's only been a day, but you've given us a lot of great things to think about for release 51 and beyond already. And so we're taking those quotes from the forums, Twitter, wherever. And if you just tweet a quote, hey, I love this or this about the game right now. Great job, guys. Any concerns? Whatever it is, as long as it's decent and something that civil, that constructive, that we can digest and look at, then we will be collecting those. This is hey, this is great, and that'll be one way for you to get in on this Twitter prize, and this only lasts during the live stream. So let's kick off one of these prizes. Serafina, we have the Valentine's Day gift boxes, 2, heart tub, or the obsidian obelisk.
Let's start with one of the gift boxes.
Gift box. Oh, just
set.
one? Just one?
Set.
Oh, the set. One set of the gift box.
Yes.
So we're not going to give away both right away. Lit it up. We're gonna have some suspense on. If you don't win one, you get a later chance for it. I like that.
Sure.
Okay, that sounds good. 2018 Valentine's Day gift boxes. If you're in Discord or you're in Twitch, doesn't matter which one. Type exclamation
gift.
Sure. Exclamation gift. I was going to say Valentine's, but that's
Exclamation gift.
All right, and we'll give that a few minutes. We'll tally that up after we go through a couple of community news items. Again, our star is going to be on the live stream to give you some news, but another star on the live stream is Scottie. Scottie is one of the favorites. He is on quite often on the live streams for the telethons especially, but he comes on here on their community live streams, talks about his work on a lot of things in the game. He actually, I believe, designed those Valentine's Day gift boxes too.
He didn't this time.
Oh, he didn't?
No, that was Michael Hutchison.
Oh.
Well, AKA Hutch, who did it. Yeah.
They collaborated because they look both great, like from the holiday gift boxes and the other ones too.
Scottie did it last year, but Scottie has been completely swamped with what he's going to be talking about later on. Just like head down,
Sneak
working.
Peek. Yeah, he's actually been working late nights here for you guys on the I was going to say it's a surprise, but I promoted the darn thing in everywhere, so it's not a surprise. So he's going to be on to talk about the physical goods that we've been working on, the manual, there's a book, and some icon work as well, and there's a few other things he's going to mention too. But there's a lot of that were given to backers that is part of their original pledges, and we're starting to work on that. So we wanted to, with launch announced and the new year, give you guys an opportunity to see a little bit of that work and our progress on it. It's not just Scottie, of course. We've got a lot going on right now on making sure. Well, you, Serafina, are involved in this too, as far as organizing, thinking about the shipping, support for people who eventually they get their goods or they're asking about their goods. Please don't rush us right now on asking about where your physical goods are. Don't worry, we'll have regular updates for you guys on that as the things develop and are produced. So we will update you guys as they come about. So,
you'll know when we know.
Exactly, and we do try to do that actually. On a serious note, when we know, we as soon as possible let you guys know, and that goes for everything basically.
Someone has a question.
Yeah, questions. If you guys have questions, ask in Twitch or Discord. What's the question?
Agoblin Hooker?
Yeah, a Goblin Hooker. Yes. He's the usual. What does he got? Oh, he has something for you.
A Goblin Hooker, a Goblin Hooker says, "Can you bench Barrack on stream?"
You probably could. I'm only 130.
Ooh, I might be able to.
Stay tuned for that. It's your show now. You introduced. You started it. Yeah.
I'm taking over.
All right. So a couple other quick news items. We've got the community live stream from last week on YouTube now, and we'll put this one on YouTube as well next week. That one was about the wild boars and the wolves in the game.
Boar.
Yes, it was boring. Well, what do we have that joke in? Boring.
Boring.
Anything but that. So if you want to check out that, it's on the YouTube channel. We also have on the YouTube channel all of your hard work on creating those wonderful walkthrough videos over the last few weeks. There were several of you who submitted them in that contest that we just ended a week ago, and we're going to be, as we did earlier this week, releasing them on social and in the weekly updates to give you guys a weekly, hey, here's a tip or a trick or something in the game to help you get started, especially if you're just joining us here in Shroud of the Avatar, watching these live streams, looking at the website, getting into the forums, introducing yourself, and wondering, how do I get started? How do I complete this quest area, this storyline? How do I, walk around and get through the world and meet other people? All that stuff. You guys have, a lot of our community leaders have created some wonderful videos on that, so we've been putting those out regularly. Prism has their Grandmaster Tutoring event. This is a regular ongoing event. January 27th, which is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Also, the Virtue Marathon is coming up on February 18th.
Are you going to be running that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes.
I am. I'm doing the 5K. So I need a lot of people to come and carry me across the finish line. It's going to be very dramatic.
We have our shirts. Eric Fun was kind to produce those, and Everyfun's working to manage this and promote it. This is for a charity, the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, and we have a lot of other charities that we contribute to on a regular basis, water.org, Movember, and others. And those announcements are usually posted on the main website and in the forums. You can check them out there as you like. And last but certainly not least, on my community news list, and then I believe Star has some things to tell you guys. We have besides the walkthrough videos, we have the Did You Know series. Did you know?
No, I didn't.
That Serafina. No, I'm just
what?
I don't know. Did you know?
Probably don't.
Did you know that in the lives of the Portalarium developers? All right, yeah, that'll be a new series, I'm sure. Did you know from Elgarian? He has a series that he's been putting out on Twitter on almost a daily basis now. This is amazing, Elgarian. Thank you for this. Puts out these Did You Know little facts about Shroud of the Avatar, and this week's series had a couple of them. It's in the weekly update, so check out the weekly update towards the bottom in the community section, and you can see what his Did You Knows are. Most importantly, sign up for our Twitter account, sign up for his Twitter account, and get those updates direct, especially if you're a new player. Please do that. Join us on social. Okay, well, I don't know where Star is. I think he was rocking it out. Oh, there he is.
Oh, you can sit here, Star.
I heard you singing earlier. You were singing on the radio, I think.
Yeah, not quite singing.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Serafina.
Thank you. I was DJ Darkstar, my alter ego.
Yes.
My superhero. See, this is my civilian persona, and then I have my superhero persona, which is DJ Darkstar. I was just DJing the dance party, release 50. It was awesome. It was amazing as always for Avatars Radio's 4th birthday, and they've celebrating their 4th anniversary. They've been around 4 years, so thank you, Avatars Radio, for sharing music and events and sermons with the community. You guys are awesome, and please support them at Patreon/Avatars Radio. That's just like us. They are basically crowdfunded, so supporting them helps us do things like the dance party, and which I am now addicted to. So we announced during the dance party that I'm going to start DJing all of the dance parties going forward. So I'm super.
You have enough songs for that?
Well, yeah, I do. I actually have a giant music collection. I have probably about 3,000 songs in my personal collection.
Wow.
Before, this was streaming. So
I
have a pen for the news, and this is when we have our little sound thing.
Oh yeah, I did get one of those yet. We need you guys to recommend a sound effect thingy.
And then a big visual splash comes in. News with Darkstar, right? Isn't that
sure?
You see that? Does everyone see that in their minds? Does everyone see it?
Somebody will have to help us envision this.
Right?
Come up with an effect.
Yeah.
Sure.
Did that happen?
It did. It just happened. It actually
sweet.
happened.
Great.
Yes.
All right. So that was awesome getting to DJ that. And Release 50 came out yesterday. That's right. Release 50. 50 releases in a row, all on time, every time. 50 releases. That's my head exploding because 50 releases on time. Nobody does that. No team does that. No product does that. Monthly releases on time, every time, full of stuff. The release notes for this release were over 30 pages long. I mean, ridiculous. That's an insane amount. My team is amazing. My team is amazing. I'm so proud of this team. I can't get over how amazing they are. Just how much work they get done every single release. It just blows my mind. That's my head exploded. Just so many things went into Release 50. So just the brief highlights. Frame rate improvements, story polish, more side quests, starter scene polish. We rebuilding scenes Sunless Barrens, South Drakbald Spur, refining skills, new recipes and patterns, over 30 recipes and patterns in this release. More virtue armor. We basically got all of the pieces of the virtue armor left except the legs, which are going to go in R51. UI polish, including the ability to lock items in your inventory, so you finally won't be able, you won't accidentally salvage or sell them. Target highlighting, altitude indicators in the compass, lots of combat balance. So we basically rewrote all the math underneath combat. New math for aggro, ransom polish. Torches are now offhand bludgeon weapons with a flame dot on them. New boars. So a totally new creature, which are wild boars. We replaced all of the wolves. We replaced the female peasants and added like 9 more. New houses, including watermill, log cabin, hollow log home. New decorations, the Viking crafting pavilion, the obsidian obelisk. The telethon items for R48. Valentine items, physical goods progress.
This list is literally longer than if you gave one person here at Portalarium one of these, it's like longer than that.
Yeah.
Like, how do we do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, so release 50, not like just amazing stuff. Like, and just getting, people who've gotten to try it out just have said like having a great time. So if you haven't patched up and tried release 50, please do give us your feedback. We've already been doing a few patches already. Game's getting better. That's the goal, to make it better. Release 51 is going to have a bunch of cool stuff in it too, but it's going to be not quite as monstrous and gigantic as release 50 because it's going to be a short release, because February, of course, is a shorter month than the other months of the year. So it's going to be a little smaller. So don't, set your expectations properly in scope. But more performance. We're going to be finally moving to a newer version of Unity that's got a lot of stuff that's going to unlock some CPU upgrades for us. The final pieces of the Virtue armor, so now you'll be able to have a complete set of those. It's going to be the leggings. The Lost Veil, and oh my god, I can't wait for you guys to see some of the cool stuff we're doing with Lost Veil. So Lost Veil is something we promised during the Kickstarter, and it's going to be a scene that you can only access during certain celestial alignments. So kind of think like how the sieges happen during celestial alignments, but it'll literally only be able to turn on when the things line up. And it's cool. It's like in its own sort of pocket dimension. It's super. It's cool. We're finally, everyone have a moment of silence for the harvestable trees that have been in since the prototype we did for the Kickstarter, because they're going to go away, and we're going to finally get beautiful trees to chop down that actually look like pine and maple. So, all right, and boars, the wild boars that we put in R50, they're going to be tameable in R51, and just like we replaced the wolves in R50 and R51, the bears are going to be replaced. So we're going to have new bears, and a moment of silence for the really shitty, ugly bears that we have that have pouches and a big hole in the armpit when they raise their arm. So the bears, the ugly bears, the bears are going to go away. So
that's what my family says when they're talking about football.
The bears.
Yeah, the bears.
The bears. The bears. The new bears. Heraldry. So so you'll be able to build your family crest, and you'll be able to display it on those of you who have that pledge reward, you'll be able to display it on a kite shield, and there's going to be a special a pattern for all the different types of armor for a chest piece of armor, and there'll be some banners that you can hang up on your wall too. And everyone, I hope everyone's sitting down, because the other thing that we're going to start in R51, and we're also going to do some work on this in R52, is we're going to do some vendor polish on the visuals for vendors, so they don't all look the same. I'm going to repeat that. We're going to do some vendor polish so vendors don't all look the same. Now, this isn't full customizability for vendors, because that we don't have time for that. Not by release. That's going to come later. But so don't get your hopes up too much. But we're going to give you some we're going to give you a bunch of options, so you'll at least be able to pick like a female vendor, some different outfits, and we're also going to make it so you can use instead of a human vendor, you could set up a cash register and use that as a vendor as well. So and also continuous progress on the physical goods, so we'll get all those up final production on those.
Which we're going to talk about in a minute with Scottie.
Yeah, Scottie's going to come in and show that. So lots of stuff coming up for R51. Reminder, our telethon is next Friday. So check out that. Going to be lots of cool stuff, more deep dives, more prizes, more stretch goals, and it's going to be Mardi Gras theme. So I grew up in Louisiana, so.
Did you?
Yep. Oh, and so it's going to have to be, that's why we chose that.
Well, you had some interesting Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's lots of stories I cannot share about my experiences at Mardi Gras.
Speaking of the telethon, and we're still working on this yet. We'll talk about this next week. Star and I are going to talk about the next contest for you guys.
Oh, right.
And we may give a sneak peek, a preview for those dedicated to watching the telethon next week on what it is. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah, we did talk about it. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what you're... Shh. Okay, all right. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, if you've been somewhere under a rock of some kind, we announced our launch event on the 14th, the week before the actual launch, during South by Southwest. We're having a launch event at the Bullet History Museum, and you guys are invited. If you are a backer of the project and you are in good standing with the community, you can come to our party. So check out the weekly update or our website for details about that, but we're very, very excited by that. I kind of snuck that out, surprised Matthew and snuck that out last week during the live stream.
Yeah.
But it's official now.
Yep, and what a surprise. It's going to be amazing to meet more of you guys, so I hope that you're able to attend and we can accommodate with the space and everything and all of that good stuff, that we'll see more of you.
Yep. Also, South by Southwest in general is just going to be amazing. We're going to have a booth, and we're going to be showing off the game, but also we're going to be, Merritt's is going to be in the booth with us. That's our partner that does the physical fitness app. And Airy Fund is going to be talking about the community stuff that they do for charitable giving. And we have a bunch of panels, and that's March 13th, 15th, and 17th, and our booth is going to be the 15th through the 17th. And other announcements, just a reminder that for R50 and 51, that skill, if you unlearn skills, you'll get 100% return on your XP. And R50, we posted the winners for testing. And a reminder, we test each release on QA the week before the release goes live. And if you test on QA and help us out, you get all sorts of cool exclusive prizes for that. Oh, and just a reminder, we announced it. It's in the release notes, and we also changed the landing page for the free trial. But now free trial users get to pick from all three paths. They're locked to that single path once they're done, but they now get to pick any of the three paths, not locked into a single path. And I think that's everything for me.
Lots and lots of news here. This is going to be another crazy week next week. Yep. Telethon and everything, and boy, you know, all this excitement on Release 50. Thank you guys again for your feedback and what you mentioned about Release 51. We're all excited, and I think that's part of why we're in, just 120% here, 200% on, getting this stuff to you guys, because we're so excited to have you see it, have you experience it, have you play it.
Yeah. So thank you, community. You guys are awesome, and I know some people asked. Yes, I will be publishing my playlist from the dance party like I do usually. And thank you, community, for supporting us. You guys are awesome.
Could you get Scottie for us?
Yes.
Please? All right, I think we have another prize to give away, guys. So we were giving away shortly before Star came in on the 2018 Valentine's Day gift boxes. Now, our live streams here, they're usually every Friday, and they're about an hour long. Since it's already 4:30, I think we're gonna give both of those gift boxes away. So we're gonna do two, but we're gonna give away one right now, and then we're gonna let you guys respin for the next one to speed this up a little bit. So congrats to Eldrick Raccoon for one of those Valentine's Day gift boxes. Let's respin that. Type !gift if you're in Discord or Twitch, either way. And we'll give that a couple more minutes. Let Scottie introduce himself again, although many of you, I'm sure, know him and his work. And we'll get some things set up here on the presentation. Ah, yes, Scottie, hello. So we're just giving away some things, and I just told them to do their thing on typing if they want to get a prize, and we're giving away some of those gift boxes, those Valentine's Day gift boxes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to give away the I would say the hot tub, but it is a hot tub. It's a hot tub.
The heart-shaped hot tub,
heart tub, yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, so you have some things to plug into the computer, so we'll get that set up. And I'll just give this another, we're going to do this fast, everybody. 30 seconds, ! gift. All right, we've got this rolling on Discord and Twitch. How's everybody doing anyway? I mean, if you were in the dance, we just had the dance party. DJ Darkstar.
I saw everybody doing that all around me. It was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of us were watching in the office and hearing the tunes from DJ Darkstar's list. So if you were in the game at Rift's End and in the dance party, type it in chat. We want to see who was able to make it to that. Let's see here. Let me write this down. We got one more person there. Okay, so we've got. 1 second. All right, so we've got screenshots. Is that what we're showing?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of stuff to show you guys, and most of it is weird, kind of behind the scenes stuff to give you all a perspective of sort of what I go through as I begin to create things, because a lot of the stuff that you all see just appear magically, and oh, that feels better, and oh, that's nice, especially when it comes to things like icons, stuff like that. Just you have no idea what I have to go through to make sure that all those things are accurate and that they all sort of correctly reflect things that are going on in the game. Oh, but you will see that today. The theme is nobody knows the troubles I've seen. Well, you're going to get to see them in just a few moments. Let's see if you can find that stuff.
All right, so we've got, I think it popped up here, so we have your folder, the removal disk you plugged in.
Yes, telethon and live stream images. And look, behold, the new folder for 2018.
Go ahead and just pop one up, and then I'll give this prize away, and then we'll plug it in so everybody can see it here.
Okay.
Okay, we've got our winner here. Congrats to Elusive_Illusion. ALLUSION. Elusive Illusion. I like that name. It's very nice.
Elusive Illusion. Yeah.
Congrats to winning a 2018 Valentine's Day gift box. As we explained, those gift boxes are containers, so you can place them in your home or in your town as actual containers, which is very nice.
Which, by the way, I'll have to say that it was either Reed Rollo or Hutch who ended up creating these versions this year for the Valentine stuff. Normally, I'm always the one that touches the gift boxes. But the reason why I didn't this time is because of all the stuff you're about to see. I've been so under the gun with this kind of stuff that there's been no chance for me to actually produce those physical in-game objects. So Hutch was kind enough, and so was Reed, I believe, to jump in and grab all the stuff that I did for the past gift boxes to create these new versions.
Actually.
So thank you very much to Hutch and Reed for that.
This will work. Here is, let's see if we can maximize this.
I have to keep myself from looking up.
Yeah, so once you get to controlling this, now all we should be able to do for that folder at least is to right click to the next of your screenshots.
Oh, good.
And they get to see what's there.
So, oh, fantastic.
So again, congrats to Eldrick Raccoon and Elusive_Illusion. We do a Twitter prize every time, and I explained to them that we're expediting this a little bit because, as usual, Star and I talk forever and make you wait, and apologies for that.
Oh, that's okay.
And so now we're rolling on this, and we're going to be showing you some of this stuff. But let's actually start the process for giving away that heart tub. You're going to love it, whoever wins it. Heart tub, here it comes, everybody, ! heart. Type in H-E-A-R-T. I don't know why I had to spell that, but just in case, there you go. Discord and Twitch. And we'll let Scottie take it away.
Okay. So what you're seeing, we're going to start off. We're going to start off with just some of the basics. As some of you may have noted, as you've been playing recently, some of the potions have been updating. Now there are certain ones that you won't necessarily see update because the decision was made. We can't make an individual icons for every single thing because literally there are so many icons that if we made something for every little bit of food or every, a unique one for all the food and unique ones for every single obsidian potion or unique ones for every single of the poison potions, forgive me, then it would just fill up to capacity our ability to actually, present the game in a way that was actually fast. I mean, seriously, memory issues are a concern. So even icons add up over time. But what I did try to do is to make sure that we made very careful choices in a variety of different situations to determine what players might most be confused by if they don't have a graphic for it that is sort of individualized. And so for the potions, what you see here are very distinct choices. These are the results of those choices. And those distinct choices help to kind of determine, oh, I see, this is the potion that I put in there. There's 4 different kinds of heals, let's say. Well, you want to know if you're going to use the healing potion that gives you everything back, or gives you just a little back over time, or gives you a small amount, or a lot at once. All of these different choices had to be sort of made, and of course the characters are making these choices. The players are as they're playing the game. So to not know which suddenly out of the 4 that you have on your bar, which of the one is going to do what you want it to do at that moment, it's not so nice. It's not so happy making. And so that same concern was shown for all of these. So let's see. There we go. So you can see all these here. If you look through, you'll notice a lot of the new art that has appeared in game to let you see in your hotbar what potion you have. And you'll see though that exact same kind of thing translated over to the icon that you'll see in your inventory. So you'll be able to see if a potion of healing is imbued, which you can see that kind of mystical blue glow around it, or whether it is one of the other 3 tiers of potions, which does heals a little bit of damage, a middling amount of damage, or a lot of damage. And so it's really good to be able to see these now. I kind of played with the idea of the shape of the bottles as well, so that it wasn't just all the same exact shape. Now you'll see round bottom bottles as well as the triangle.
Yeah, I was going to say the triangle, and I think I see a little bit of different one. The 2 glowing, the red and the purple seem to be oh, maybe it's because they're glowing, right?
Yeah, they're glowing. They're imbued.
Yeah.
But you'll also see that on some of the bottles there'll be little symbols on the side too that indicate what those specific things are for.
Why don't you go ahead and expand that a little bit? Just hit that plus sign there.
Let's see.
And then it'll come up with the crank that up a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
That'll give them a little bit more. Yeah, hopefully that's a little bit easier for you guys to see.
Yeah. Now, of course, you are looking at very tiny little icons, right? And so we couldn't really go too much closer to it without it just kind of falling apart and becoming sort of digitized looking. But nonetheless, it gives you a little bit of a visual cue, and that's what we were going for. Over time, your eyeballs will get used to those visual cues, and you'll be able to detect what's going on with these things.
We've got discussion about the potions in chat here. We've got Peebo Soda. I don't use any of the lesser potions. I only sell them to vendors, so you can save on those. But wait, we have a Goblin Hooker who was talking to Sarah earlier. I use a lesser focus every day, so we want to make sure it covers everyone.
It does need to cover everybody, and plus, if you're looking in the inventory and you're let's say you're one of those folks who loves to use the actual what we call the gump inventory or the bag mode inventory, where you literally love to just place the little icons around. Doing it by visual means that you're kind of a little bit more easily able to see the bunch of the ones you want to sell to a vendor or the ones you want to throw away or whatever. Anyway, so that's some of the smaller changes you may have noticed recently. But to give you an idea, and we're going to go now into some other icons that have changed, you'll also see that you may have noticed the changes in some of the crafting icons. Now, for a while there, here, let me go ahead and make that thing bigger.
Yeah, sorry about that. We have to do this each time.
That's kind of a bummer. I don't know if a plus. I fear hitting buttons to make it happen. So you can see there that's in my little test screen area. I've brought up my skills, and you can kind of see that the skill tree has started to be filled out now with with individual and unique icons for each of the different skills. And of course, you can see this if I flip through a couple of these screens. You can see a couple examples of these. And, you know, of course, the goal in this case is just to let people kind of, again, have a nice visual differentiation between them. Not necessarily that these will appear on your hotbar. Most of these are innate, so you'll never drag them over. But when you're looking at the tree, it's nice to kind of see different icons to represent sort of a different understanding of what each power does. You know, just so that it doesn't look like we just pasted the same thing over and over again. I haven't gotten to them all yet. There are still some refining skills, or I should say some refining skills that need to have new icons for their tree too. That's the last task I have for these particular icons before we end up sticking a fork in it and calling it done.
Now, if anybody has any questions for Scottie here, we're talking about the icons right now. All the work he's done on that. We've got some more things to show you, as we mentioned earlier in the live stream. So if you're just tuning in, this is Scottie, and Scottie, we didn't actually really do an introduction of your title. You didn't mention your title.
I'm just kind of a general artist. I'm one of the senior artists at Portalarium. I've worked with Richard for years and years, even long before Portalarium was formed. I used to work back in the old days, back when I was doing the same kind of work and interface work for Ultima Online. So yeah, I'm an old dog in the industry and been doing this stuff for a while.
This a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
As you were talking, I was tempted to press these minus and plus. Let's just see what happens here.
Oh, it works! Yay!
Okay,
so happy. Yeah, because diddling with that little slider bar was annoying. But anyway, so this is just an example of what you see as the tree begins to fill itself out with the new icons I've made. You'll be able to take advantage of those in the game. So these are just little things. But here's the funny part that I will explain as I show you what I mean by that. And here's some better example. Yeah, feel free. Feel free to do it as we go through here. So now you can look kind of a little more closely at these things. As I said, as you get closer, you can start seeing the little, non-rasterized sort of looking edges to these. They're never meant to be seen this huge. But you can kind of look through them and see some of the old ones that were already there, mix in with some of the new ones that were made to allow you to recognize that, oh, I'm making plate mail versus chain mail, and you know, these have been endowed with certain properties and all that kind of good stuff. Now, all of these icons are wonderful jewel-like little colorful things, and they seem very simplistic on the outset. You can look at them. The reality is they're made of files that have multiple layers in Photoshop to allow for glow effects and other things that I decided upon. Since long ago, we made the decision for me to not hand paint these things. In other words, they weren't going to be these little paintings. They were instead going to be some icons that were sort of generated through the use of symbols and such again and again to make sure that the sort of the family, quote unquote, of these icons was recognizable. And that includes things like, you know, the same school of crafting, say, for instance, has the same kind of color in the background. So if you look down here at this butchery icon, all of the icons pertaining to butchery will have the same kind of color and will have a variance on the same sort of theme. Also, all the crafting icons are different from the magic and the combat icons in that these things have sort of a silhouette of the icon in the center, as opposed to the stuff that looks like either gold when you're dealing with magic icons or silver when you're dealing with the combat icons. Yeah, so a different treatment for all the different types of icons. So if we go to the next page here, you'll see more of these icons, right? This one obviously has to do with tailoring. And even though this has a hammer and anvil, this is talking about a repair. This is a repair icon. So you get a family of repair having to do with the hammer, you know, the different work hammers and the gear in the background. But its color identifies it as dealing with tailoring. So, you know, this kind of thing it deals with sort of pinpointing accuracy when you're dealing with these different things. So again, the same kind of symbol used in relation to the different symbols for the different schools means specific things.
Yeah, I stare at that scissors, and all I can think of is don't run with scissors.
Yeah, otherwise that happens. You break whatever you're doing in your body. But yeah, so you see kind of the way I'm kind of handling all this stuff, right? Now, all this seems very simple until you begin to realize what it takes for me to be able to make these icons accurately and properly every time. Because you see, I get handed a list of icons, and this list of icons doesn't necessarily indicate things like the school. So now you get to see where the woe behind the scenes is. This is a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet that I made to keep track of every kind of icon that I do. And all the different icon changes that I've made recently to just the crafting icons alone, you can see on page after page of painstakingly written down ideologies about how these icons must be made. Everything from an indication to what kind of icon will be in the center of it, what kind of little symbol, to the color background of the individual school itself, to the category that it falls into, meaning that it's innate, so it has a gray sort of a cast to the icon itself, the border of the icon. And all of these things are color coded to indicate how I have to build these icons, including the proper name that it's saved under, including what the icon does, so I don't get them confused with an icon with a different property or what it indicates. All of this has to be done before I can really start working on the icons to make sure I don't make mistakes. And I have to manage this table. And believe me, if you look down here, see down here at the bottom all those numbers? Those are numbers representing every release with any icons I've ever made for all the way back to the very beginning, or at least as far back until I started touching these icons and realized they need to be ordered in a certain way for me to not go insane while creating them. Yeah, that is a big. Someone said that's a big spreadsheet. Yes, yes, it is. And so within the realm of that kind of pain, just so you can understand, let's move to a different spreadsheet, because now let's jump to a different topic. You saw what I did for the icons. That's the only thing I've been able to work on that's actually in-game content recently, because I've also been preoccupied by a whole new slew of things I'm working on, which is the physical goods. The physical goods that go to our Kickstarter backers in the form of the collector's box that those who were involved in the Kickstarter get. And you can see that we have 8,392 such game boxes that we have to make, filled with all manner of these, let's see, what are they, 18 different items that may have to go in there depending upon what level of backer you were and what rewards you got. And all of this has to be managed individually, both on site with me and then me, talking with all the managers, and then off site with a fellow by the name of Ben Pritchard, who you know of from perhaps Relics by Rild, who handles a lot of our goods and sells them. And he's also an aficionado of the game.
Yeah, we actually just retweeted him. I retweeted him an hour before this live stream because he was proposing he wanted to reach out to the community on a new design for some particular item.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd help him a little bit there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we work very closely with Rild. And then in addition, we also work with people like Dennis LeBay and Sir Frank, who end up providing us with cool designs for things, including art for the interior of some, like the manual coming up, which I'll show you in a few moments, as well as the coins that we're producing, which, again, the coin that will come in this box for those who get the coin is the one designed by Sir Frank. And so we're honoring him by, kind of making sure that we interface with him as we make changes or we make additions. So you can see it starts with this. This is the simple spreadsheet. Now we go to what I had to do to make sure that I could see the interdependencies between all of these tasks before we even began them, and all my little notations. This shows you the level of complexity before we can even begin the process of creating the physical goods. Now, a lot of you, for instance, I've heard are like, you're chomping the bit. You really want the goods, and we want to give them to you. But it's not as easy as just producing them and sending them to the printer. So many I's have to be dotted, so many T's have to be crossed before we can even get to the point of properly sending anything to the printer. And then, of course, we have to wait for the production process to occur and the manufacturers to do their job. But this right here gives you an idea of just what I have to go through to help arrange and manage the process before we can even begin creating the files that produce the digital goods that the manufacturers then turn into physical goods. So what are these physical goods we've been working on? Well, the cloth map is one of them. The cloth map is really important to Richard, and obviously so. All the past products he's worked on have had cloth maps, and he really, really loves engaging in the idea of creating these little relics and artifacts that people can actually hold in their hand and look at and enjoy, or maybe hang on their wall. We'll be providing this not only in a digital form, but also in a physical form too, which is really cool. So, by the way, hello to everybody who's just now joining. Hopefully you're enjoying seeing this. We're actually in the physical goods part of this little discussion, showing you the kind of stuff that we're making. And by the way, this map is really cool. It's cool for several reasons. Not only does it go back to the earliest days of us planning out what this game was going to be, and then how it's slowly being iterated until it is what it is now. But just recently, we went through a pass where we released the information to some of our backers and our fans, members of the community who were interested in seeing the map be a perfect success. And from them, we got all kinds of awesome feedback, which allowed me to go in and make all these little final map tweaks and such. Now, we couldn't incorporate everything. I believe some fellow wanted us to, said, oh, you left out the little degree marker in this corner for this 25-degree marker here. Well, I just couldn't put it in there. It was just too close to the other number. It would have kissed it and looked ugly. But then there are loads of things I was able to fix, including indications of like the ruins being on the wrong side of the river. Because this map went through an iterative process long before we started to build the world. And then when we built the world, certain decisions were made to change where things were. And, we didn't always catch when we had to make changes on the map to account for that. But there are so many great areas on this map now that look even better because we've gotten the input from our community. So for all those who were responsible for that, thank you so much for giving us your feedback. Now, but that's not all that had to be done. This is what the digital file looks like if you're just looking at the coolness of the map itself. But for the manufacturers to be able to print it, I had to go in and add a whole bunch of other stuff, including what's called bleed and slug edges, overbleed, to allow people to cut this stuff down. You can see printer's marks up here, which are like the little color-coded things that make sure that the printer, when they actually print the things, always print in consistent color. Of course, it had to be switched to CMYK as
Yeah, I was
opposed to
going to mention that.
RGB.
Could you explain real quick for those who, don't understand that one, and honestly, I'm not sure I quite understand still to this day, is the print colors are different than your regular Photoshop online web image colors, and if you cross them, they could look very bad in print.
Yeah, you have something that looks wonderful in RGB, and then you convert it to CMYK, which is the CMYK reverts to cyan, magenta, yellow, and K, meaning black. And the CMYK colors are specifically referring to the colors used in the ink for print. And so RGB usually it's red, green, blue, but it's really referring to essentially the colors used to project color from a screen using light. Whereas CMYK is referring to the colors that are, essentially varying degrees of opaque or not, layered on top of white paper to create the colors with ink. So those two systems are very different. So for instance, I had to go in and normalize colors that changed in their value to the eye the moment it went to the CMYK. And that same goes not just with this, but with Dennis LeBay's painting that he did digitally for the cover of the box itself, which you'll be seeing in a few minutes. Well, the vibrant blues that were used in that, the moment I turned them to CMYK, turned weird and drab and strange. They weren't the same. They weren't as vibrant and beautiful. Like the color blue that you like, right? Those same kind of color
really
blues.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it does pop when it's digital, but when I went to CMYK, I had to go in and actually turn Dennis's physical painting into a multi-layered Photoshop file so I could take all the colors individually and tweak them in CMYK until they became as close as they could to the RGB values to my eye.
We've got Elwin in Discord chat. He says, "Don't cross the color streams." Good tip there.
That's right. Well, you'll get foulness happen. In fact, even computers sometimes freak out when you try to share CMYK images.
Oh,
yeah. It blows them out into some kind of crazy, ungodly colors if you try to mix media there. So because it wants RGB, but printers want CMYK, and that's what you're seeing right there. Those are those printers marks. Now, the next one of the next objects, like I said, was Sir Frank's coin design, which he helped to provide us with sort of a visual sample of what it might look like once it was changed to the specific one that we promised for ours, which contains Lord British's Forsaken Virtues and then says Founders Edition on the bottom. This is a Photoshop mock-up. But to make this possible, I had to then work with Frank to take the actual design used for the printer and then change the words, because that had not been done yet, change the words to allow for the printer themselves, or I should say the coin manufacturer, to then create the upraised bits of the design, which are represented in black here, when they actually produce the coins themselves. And Sir Frank actually just sent me recently a little mock-up that they did showing that, you might want to change a little bit on the lettering, just to make sure that all these little parallel lines on the letters have a little bit more space to them so they don't munge together when they get essentially 3D created in metal. Yeah. So I'm about to go in and do that maybe later on today. But you see the process that kind of goes behind all this to make sure that these things work out when they're turned into real physical goods. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is the manual, the work on the manual that we're doing. So you're actually seeing me in a screenshot from an interface in InDesign, where I'm kind of showing you the individual pages and then spreads of the manual itself. And I'm only going to show you a few of them because it's still in process. There's no reason to go through the whole thing. But what you see right there, by the way, is the cover page of it, and the little kind of dark area around the edge. That's the bleed that I'm kind of blacking out there using a thing called overprint preview that just shows you what you'll really see on the cover. So you ignore the little dark line right there. That's the part called bleed or overbleed that gets cut off by the manufacturer.
We have a couple of questions from the community. I think going back to the other things real quick. Will these be available to others for a price as well? I think he's referring.
Oh, like the cloth map and some of the other objects?
The coins, yeah.
Yeah. So the answer to that in general is yes for many things. For instance, Dennis LeBay is potentially going to be providing us with a design that we may end up using for the Ankh that will go inside of the game, or our little trinket. And we're still kind of throwing around ideas about whether it will be that trinket or whether it will be a little obsidian rock or whatever. We're playing around with that still. But if we go with Dennis LeBay, then Dennis LeBay's, even though the people who get the box will have for free that little trinket included in it, that are of that proper backer level, anyone who did not get one that has it, from inside the box can still, if they wish, buy one from Dennis LeBay's own site and have that same design themselves. It just, won't come essentially for free in the box.
And we also have a question from Tebow Soda who asks, what will the dimensions be? I believe he's referring to the cloth map, perhaps.
Oh,
I believe so.
Possibly so. Well, the dimensions of the cloth map are going to be 18 inches wide by 15.36 inches tall, I believe, if my memory serves correctly.
That's pretty good size.
Yes, it's a really nice big cloth map. It'll be really great. And of course, for those of you all who will be getting a PDF copy of it as well, if you wanted to print your own on paper, you'd be able to take it directly to a place and print it out for yourself as well.
Oh, cool! That's neat.
So this is the first page of it, and then here, now you can see a 2-page spread. The 2-page spread kind of shows you how I'm sort of laying it out. We don't have a table of contents yet because the interior of it isn't complete, and we haven't signed off on the final text yet. So
Hail and well met, Avatar.
Hail and well met,
Avatar. The history of what came before. Let me tell you a little story.
Well, and that's the cool part about this is at first I was like, oh, so it's just going to be like a manual to show you how to operate the game. But eventually it was decided upon to have a little bit of nice lore and fiction in the beginning as well. It talks about a little bit of the history of the game and such, which I always love, and of course, which always suits like drawings and Dennis LeBay's artwork very.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is great.
So if we look at another page, for instance, this kind of shows
we got people screaming for prizes here. So as soon as we have other folders to show things too, right?
Well, this is the folder, and we're almost to the end. But feel free to do some prizes if you want to, real quick.
Okay, sure. So we have a winner for our heart tub. Congrats to Dark Swirl. SWEER. No. SWERL. Dark Swirl.
Dark Swirl.
I really don't know where they come up with these names, but it's amazing. Some of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome name there, Dark Swirl. There you go. Heart Tub 1 for you. And by the way, everybody who wins something, please message me, Barrick, in Discord. If you're in Discord, if you're in Twitch chat, message Shroud of the Avatar with your character name and a reminder of what you won. Our last item of the day, besides the Twitter prize, you can tweet this live stream or anything about the release, hashtag LBSOTA and or at Shroud of Avatar on Twitter. Join our Shroud of the Avatar Twitter page and mention something about anything in the game, anything with us on the live stream, the release, and you'll get a chance to win that choice of a front page item that is expiring. We have the storefront, and most of the items on the front page of the store are expiring at the end of the telethon next Friday. And so we're giving everybody an opportunity to jump in and get a chance to pick something. It's nice to win things that we determine, but it's even better if they're like, oh, I get a choice. Wow, there you go.
Oh,
so
cool.
I give them a choice on that, but you have to do this on Twitter. Meanwhile, and that, by the way, that'll be awarded about a half hour or so after this live stream. And we'll share it on Twitter. Look for the reply in the reply section of our Twitter account. If you didn't win, obviously you won't get a direct message. And then right now we'll give out that obsidian obelisk, one of the new items we put into the game for release 50.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, really nice tall obelisk for your Clarence town or your property. And this, let's see, Discord and Twitch, if you want to win the obsidian obelisk, type in obelisk. That's exclamation OBELISK, and we'll give that until the end of the live stream.
Are those the ones I take it that are based on the obelisks that I made for the decorating the obsidian areas in the game for?
It is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're really intricate design, and we already saw one. Actually, somebody bought it. There's a lot of community members who will watch the storefront on Thursday mornings of releases and see when, at the moment of popping things, that things become available. They'll go and grab them because they know about these things in our release instructions on Wednesday. So they get a little sneak peek. You guys get a sneak peek of what's being put into the game on Wednesdays with our release instructions.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, well here we'll go through a few of these final items then, and then my task will be done. So you're looking at here, for instance, another page spread inside of the manual that we're thinking about to make sure that people can see what the user interface and hotkeys are and things like that. And so you can I chose this page simply because it shows how like some of the tables and charts kind of look like in the manual itself, or at least how we're cooking it up right now. The next page I wanted to show simply because of the fact that it shows you, I have a lot of placeholder art in here, and you'll notice if you're familiar with Dennis LeBay's art, this placeholder art is art that he made for the Sword of Midras book, and I took it and just kind of recrafted it for the purposes of showing where art may exist inside the manual. It allows the text that I'm placing it to flow around that artwork, and it enables me, once the text is in place, to know that, okay, here's what I want to let Dennis know to draw for us, based on the theme of whatever text is surrounding the particular image on that particular page. And so, in fact, I'm going to be doing that today because we're hoping to nail down the last bit of text for the manual today, and then get Dennis working on these. Richard really wanted Dennis LeBay to be involved in this, and so did I, because, I mean, his illustrations like this honestly help define the look and feel of the books of all the the old manuals and users guides from all the old Ultima games. And in this particular case, since this is meant to kind of live on in spirit of those old days, Dennis LeBay just had to be involved in the artwork for the new manual.
A good one there. Where to find purchase items.
Yeah,
that's a good section.
Yeah, we added that section too, simply to make sure a lot of people don't know. Well, where do I find my stuff when I buy it?
Speaking of that, we actually I think you know about this, Scottie. We worked on over the last couple of months. We created and then ran a contest that asked the community come up with some videos that show new players and existing players where to find things and how to get started, and tips and tricks on combat and harvesting and everything in the game.
You went through a bunch of those recently, didn't you?
All 200 plus.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so your eyeballs looked at them all. That's great.
Over 200 videos. We went through every single one. There was a lot of them that were created by an individual. So an individual, several created 10 or more as a series and gave a step 1, step 2 kind of process because we limited the time for them. So they're nice little sound bit or video bits for you guys, 2 minutes long at most.
That's awesome.
For most of them, in regards to finding things in the game. And so that's one of the community things that I love seeing, and just one of those that we look at to find out what do you guys really want to know, and what do you think new players want to know, and then in part at least take a little bit of that, and or perhaps a lot, I don't know, on making these physical goods really be as informative and useful for you as possible.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, by the way, in spirit of that, here you can see more of Dennis's placeholder art. But as we go through this whole process and start filling in these blanks, one of the things we definitely wanted to do, and we had an excellent opportunity to do this when a bunch of our guests were here during our holiday party. I'll tell you this little story. Richard ended up introducing me to one of our backers and a longtime fan who is producing a website, or has produced, I should say, already authored it, and is now continuously filling it with more and more data and information pertaining to the crafting system. Really, really great, useful stuff. Now, I didn't even know about this. I wasn't even aware of this. I don't play the game enough to be able to actually know a lot about the crafting system, other than, of course, what I designed interface for and things like that. But if you'll notice down here at the bottom of this image right here, I don't know how I can. There we go. You see a little image presented by Oakenhammer. And for those of you all who don't necessarily know who he produced a site called sodasmith.com. And sodasmith.com just gives great love to the crafting system. He provides all kinds of amazing information on that site, and that up to and including like where to find things and how to craft things and what materials are used to do all that. And one of the newest things he's beginning to implant is essentially a flowchart, an assembly tree that shows how you put together these items for all the different recipes in a wonderful visual context. And Richard was so impressed by this that he's like, we really need to include an image of that in our manual to show the process of doing it. And so, in addition to all the icons you can see here that talk about the different categories of crafting, right here we see a wonderful paragraph that I added to indicate what this image is all about. The crafting process follows a series of steps as illustrated in the above example. Raw materials gained by harvesting are individually worked using recipes, tools, and other expendable resources to craft them into more refined items. Like the base raw materials, these refined items may be bought, sold, or traded individually, or be combined using further recipes, tools, and expendables to create a final item of even better workmanship. And so we really don't have any place in our own game where we show this process so clearly as Oakenhammer has done for his site. And so there was no reason not to include this in the manual because and most likely eventually it will end up in the online, even more expanded players, guide as well, to help people understand how the process works. This is just beautiful, elegantly done, very well done Oakenhammer, and as a result of that, we're putting it right in the manual for everybody to take advantage of and then find a site.
Yeah, very well done, and I was impressed when I first saw your site, Oakenhammer. And we have sodasmith.com, and there's a few other crafting sites and services that the community has listed in our resources tab on the website. So the website, if you go to the community tab right in the middle of the main menu and drop that down, there's the community event calendar and the resources and a bunch of other things. But the resources tab, you go there, sodasmith.com is listed there right next to several other crafting resources, and there's a bunch of other general resources as well that we've listed. And speaking of that page, we do update that when we get a notice from you guys, the community, if there's anything we need to update to those outdated information or any new sites that you are creating, any new fan sites, any new crafting resources, things like sodawiki.net. If you're managing a section or a page in there on crafting or combat or anything else, housing, whatnot, everything in the game is useful for the community on these sort of website interfaces. And so let us know and we'll be happy to add it.
Yes. And so here, let me then move forward with the next element here, and that is the box itself. Now, I haven't done the back of the box. It's going to have screenshots and a few other things on it that I haven't had a chance to compile. But all of these wonderful things that I've shown you, up to and including the lovely manual that I just got finished showcasing, are going to go into the collector's box. And so this is my mock-up for the box itself. Now, what you're seeing really is only the exact top of the box. And you even see a little gold, sort of a embossed gold seal on it that identifies it as a collector's boxed edition. But what I wanted to show you is a little bit more of the behind-the-scenes stuff, in that the image we're giving to the printer, though, has to look like this. And the reason why is literally it becomes a folded cover. It's called a case wrap that goes around the cardboard box top itself and has to be cut in special ways so that it will fold nicely and go in and create the corners of the box, the top bottom, left, and right sides of the box as seen from the shelf that it may be sitting on, or on your own shelf once you get it. And then wraps around and underneath inside of the cover itself. I've heard that that we have the option of using, most games that I've seen didn't have this option before, to have an actual the cardboard itself that you will be able to see underneath when you turn the box lid over will be black, which is cool, very stylish and awesome. But you can see here we have Dennis's art. I actually had to, with Dennis's permission, kind of repaint and expand the art, because beyond the edges of the actual box lid itself, that there was no art that existed, and I wanted to carry it over into the sides nicely. And so to do that, I ended up painting a little bit extra on the sides. And Dennis was,
Yeah, that's nice.
yeah, he was very congratulatory. He was like, "Oh, it looks like I did it." So I'm very happy because I didn't want it to look like anything but Dennis's lovely art. So you see how that works, and now we can go ahead and get a close up now to see that foil stamp, that foil collector's edition, box edition stamp. Or I should say sticker that gets placed on all of these, had to be designed in the same way the coin does, because essentially it produces a thing that you get a really lovely roll full of these stickers that are also embossed. And like the coin, it's embossed using this sort of black and white design to show what's upraised and what's not. So this is what you all are getting to see through all of this is the effort that it takes to make all of these things. So many hours. And be able to fully appreciate it, you have to kind of get this quick look behind the curtain. And hopefully this is something that has taught you all a little bit about the process that we go through. And in the end, that's what the actual seal will look like, assuming that it comes back nicely from the people who will actually process the gold leaf sort of foiled embossed image.
Yeah, it looks really impressive. It's amazing. And we use this as part of the promotion for the live stream this week. And I'm glad that you were able to come on and share all of this with the community, because it's difficult for us to sometimes reveal to you, the community, the process for the development of all of these things, especially when it becomes something that's going to be handed to you. And in a physical format, there's extra special considerations like the printing colors, the shipping, and the process for there, making sure it's cost effective, because we're a crowdfunded game, and this is all made possible by you guys. And I'm personally impressed with everything you've revealed today.
Oh, thank you.
I make it a point to not really review everything that Scottie and others present on here, because I want to be surprised too, and I'm definitely surprised.
Oh, great. And we had a few questions about it too that I'll answer real quick. Someone, it looks like the Black Knight asked, why are the top right side upside down? The reason why is you have to think about how they will be seen if they're sitting on a shelf. So if they're sitting on a shelf and you're looking at that top or that right side, or it's sitting like a book in your shelf, they need to read consistently. So if you're seeing it, top up on its bottom, then the top up is upside down, but it's right side up when you see it that way. Likewise, a few of the other people are saying that the box looks amazing. These things look amazing, and I just want to say thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'd love to spend more time talking about that stuff, but I actually need to get back to producing it.
Yeah, you have a lot of tasks in those spreadsheets. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. And only like a handful of them so far have been addressed. Most of it has been, a large part of this kind of process is the communication that has to happen between myself, by people like Ben, with the managers here who have to help make decisions, because I can't make all of them, nor should I.
And when something is printed, it's printed.
Yeah, because once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, we want to make sure you guys get everything's perfect for it.
It's the whole measure twice, cut once kind of rule, because once it's out there, that's it. It's set in stone, so to speak, and you can't take it back. So all of this has to be correct, and then we have to make sure that we get everything correct with the manufacturers themselves. And sometimes there's a language barrier. Some of these things, people in Germany are helping us out with. So some of the stuff may be manufactured in Germany.
Yeah, we got great partners though. We've got a lot of people that are working on it, and it is going really well, especially for the time constraints that we're under.
Oh yes.
With launch coming up, and the interest in getting these to you as soon as possible, etc. So we'll maybe have you on again as things progress and there's more things you want to show.
Sure.
We have our telethons, like the next week's telethon on February 2nd from 3 to 7 o'clock Central Time. and more that is coming up in the next couple of months. So stay tuned for that. Unless there's other questions that you see, Scottie, I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much more, but again, thank you all for checking all this stuff out. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you again on the flip side once we get a little bit more stuff done.
All right, thank you, Scottie. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everyone.